Now, hopefully this is working. All right. Hey everybody, it's me, True Powers Mind, back at it again. Um, I wanna read something to you guys here real quick. And it really hits home. You know, it's like a daily dose of truth. All right. Ignorant blacks, whites who now fall for the divide and conquer strategy, pitting whites against blacks, browns against wait, ignorant blacks and whites who now fall for the divide and conquer strategy, pitting whites against browns against blacks, obviously do not realize the birthright issue did not begin with the immigrants. It began with the black man, Dred Scott, who tried to file a lawsuit right here in the great state of Missouri, up in St. Louis, actually. It was not until the adoption of the 14th Amendment in 1868 that citizenship was granted to those born or naturalized in the United States, including former slaves. When these bigoted folks claim that they are taking back their country based upon the original intent of the so-called founding fathers, that does not include blacks, browns, women, or any whites who are not wealthy landowners. Hell, if Harry Trump wanted to, he could force all blacks to leave the U.S. Armed Forces, because the only laws that allow blacks to serve is the executive order signed by President Truman. Any subsequent president can remove executive orders issued by previous presidential administrations. Eric Trump knows that this birthright citizenship relates executive orders will be challenged, and that in the end, the U.S. Supreme Court, which is now stacked with individuals who will deem Eric Trump executive orders. Meanwhile, we are edging even closer to Article 5 Constitutional Convention. I am not being hyperbolic when I state that under Article 5 Constitutional Convention, control of all states will go back to states, and the U.S. federal government will have little to no power. You can kiss goodbye. Such laws as voting rights, civil rights, Roe versus Wade, etc. Today, it's birth rights of immigrants. Tomorrow, it will be birthrights of most of you. And this is from Mark from Anaheim. What's up, Rebuzz? Hey, I'm back at it again. I had to take a little break, working through some issues. But I wanted to bring this up, for one, I want to remind everybody, Mark Anaheim will be on the Carl Nelson Show today. Check your local listings for all that good stuff. But this really hits to something that's really important. I don't think no one's even discussing. In my state here, they just passed the legalization of medical marijuana. All right. But federal law says it's illegal to possess guns and marijuana. So whether the state says it's cool or not, essentially, once you become a medical marijuana recipient or participant, it's almost as you just gives up your Second Amendment right to bear arms because of federal drug laws. And more importantly, the fix is in because people who are on psychotropics or people who are on oxycodone or any other medication, they still can possess firearms. But if you're on marijuana, you can't possess firearms. So that's going to be a real issue. And I'm sure it has been issues in Colorado and other states, and no one's talking about it, which is obvious because we all know what the end goal is. The end goal is to remove the guns from the citizenry. Therefore, total tyranny, unmolested, unimpeded, could totally ensue. But it's going to ensue regardless, guys, so don't even worry about that. We're having Corinne Chester from Normal on the Other Morning Show tomorrow. I'm going to nail down the time with her. I'll be talking to her later on today. It really feels good just to be back up here making videos again, giving my special brand of commentary. But this immigrant thing, we got to understand what I said on the Jimmy Blakely show, which I had to take down, folks. I'm sorry, the audio was just that bad. But what should happen with the immigrants is men, women, the old men, women, and young children, they all need to come on in, all right? And we'll just tend for them, you know? I mean, I don't want to get into the social geopolitical ramification of this country's involvement with their countries of origins and all that, because that's neither here nor there now. All the women and men of fighting age in the little caravan, they need to go into the military, or the armed forces rather, where they can get on an 8-year contract, where they can first off get a grasp of the English language. Secondly, understand what it means to be a patriot. And thirdly, when they get out, they'll have legitimate accesses to resources like GI Bills and the VA and other benefits from serving. All right. And it will help us with our recruitment needs right now. So it's like a win-win. And no one has to get flustered. No one has to get upset. It will all work out. But the way it is now, guys, it should be crystal clear. Now you can start to see the picture really getting into focus as pertaining to the Civil War. We're having a states and federal government, not escalation by no means. You know, obviously there's no politicians, you know, advocating armed citizenry react or in any way or form. But we can see the beginning of this thing. All right. Today, it's the birthright issue. Tomorrow, it'll be the gun issue. Then it'll be the freedom of speech issue and the freedom of religion issue and so forth. Ultimately, the whole game plan is to take a chip, put it in you, scan you. All this little technology we have now will be to the wayside. You know, we can all just be walking around enjoying nature and still be tied in and everything. But the reality is this, guys. We have biblical prophecy happening right now. We have geopolitical maneuvering of various superpowers posturing right now. And 3, this has all been done before. Well, it has. You know, the 2008 crisis, let's bail out the banks. Y2K, 2012, the Mayan count. It's all this crap has always been here. And I'm telling you what, chances are the sun will shine tomorrow and it will set tomorrow. All right. So we need to prepare right now for tomorrow and a brighter tomorrow for all of us. I mean, maybe we all should be taking a knee in many ways. Think about it. Not just for the police brutality, but just for the sheer hypocrisy. How could we claim to be the freest country in the world, but yet you look at a country like Portugal, where all drugs are legal. They don't have to deal with the incarceration. They don't have to deal with the taxing. They don't have to deal with the underworld issue, because if it's not above ground, then it's underground. You know what I mean? When's the last time you heard about Google whacking some Apple, you know, executives? Well, we want, you know, the 100% of the computer market here. No, you don't, because it's all above ground. But when's the last time you heard of a cocaine gang blowing away another cocaine gang or heroin gang or whatever? You hear about it all the time, because that's the underworld. That's the underline. And it's all there by design. All right. I mean, the reality is this here. I don't want to sound like some hippie from the 60s, but you can kill a baby in America. That's your choice. And ask Rush Limbaugh. Can you self-medicate? You better not. And Rush, the reason why I brought Rush Limbaugh, because most of these cats that are sitting up here talking about drug dealers need to be shot, the poor are fucking whacked. You look at them and they're doing the exact same. You know, for many of my younger listeners, guys, Rush Limbaugh was a fat guy, or is a fat guy rather, and he's a I mean, he's more than just fat, but he's a conservative, basically millionaire, you know, quote unquote self-made man, blah blah, jack off lies. He's not self-made, he was put there, but he was basically busted sending his little, I believe she was Hispanic too, his little maid out into the streets at night to the dope man to get Oxycontin pills, and she would bring them back to him, and he would down them and then go and talk his shit. But he was in so much pain. Oh, pain. Man, come on, dude. It's always the same old garbage. You know, I like the notion of freedom, but true freedom, not this a government regulated version of it. That doesn't cut it. I'm talking about true freedom. And you should like that shit too. That's why we all should take a knee. Men and women should have the freedom. You know, listen, I'm not going to sit over here and say any woman has the moral obligation to have the baby, which, you know, even though that's what I personally believe, I'm not going to sit there and whore shame a woman or degrade her because she had an abortion. Why? Well, for one, I really have no dog in that particular race. Unless she's, you know, like my chick and she, you know, that's a totally different ballgame. But, you know, like this, oh, no.